with the BMF title fight, or should Nate Diaz say it, boring mother. Welcome to Fight News. So let's cover a little bit of news that happened with the combat scene all over the world. I will cover a little bit about the local scene. A bit of a controversial fight that happened over the weekend with Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira fighting. It was a 25-minute hug fest. Don't call me a hater, but it is what it is, right? First round was exciting. First round was great. There was a lot of action, even in the first 2 minutes of the fight, if I'm not wrong. It was really good, back and forth. Even got Holloway, rocked Holloway. But let me trace back a little bit. The whole fight overall, yes, Oliveira did dominate Max Holloway. Like, even in the stand-up exchange, Oliveira was winning, even though it was short, but it was clear that Oliveira did do better than Holloway. But I wish there was more stand-up exchanges, but hey, it's MMA. First round was great. Oliveira was dominating even in the stand-up, and then took down Max Holloway, and Holloway just can't do anything about it. And then round number 2, same as well, stand-up. There was a bit of exchanges here and there, but easy. After the takedown, it was just, yeah. But then round 3, 4, and 5 was just a carbon copy of what round 1 and round 2 was. So 24 minutes of control time that was stated by the UFC for Charles Oliveira dominating on the top of Max Holloway. I guess the controversial side of things is that it's marketed as a BMF title. So if we talk about a little bit of history about the BMF, of why the BMF title was there, I mean, some people may remember that it was there because of, Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz. And that was for, two badass guys just going up against each other and just giving us the fight of the night kind of experience. And I think with every BMF title fight, that has always been the case, that we are expected to see a fight of the night experience, or we are expected to see like a fight of the decade, or at least fight of the year, I mean, at least fight of the night, but some of them went even, I think Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway did fight of the year kind of performance, but it was more disappointing than the main card itself. But then again, the main card was it was okay. Not really. A lot of people say it was a cursed card, it was a slow card. Co-main event was exciting, at least to me. It was exciting, aside from the giant nutshot that Kaio received from RDR. But even that was exciting enough of a fight. I guess as a fight fan, I was disappointed in Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway. In terms of an MMA fight, no question about it. Oliveira dominated Max. But on the entertainment factor, it was... So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Should the BMF title continue, or should Dana White just retire the BMF belt? Because if that would be the kind of fight we could expect from a BMF fight, not gonna lie, I'm not gonna watch it. But either way, a lot of people do say that the BMF title was a joke to begin with. So I guess the joke ends here, right? On to next news. We got a bit of international boxing news. We got Mayweather coming up against Manny Pacquiao again. A fight that I guess nobody asked for. I don't know. If you are excited for this fight, good for you. But I guess we all gotta move on, right? But this is what I mean by boxing doesn't have that much excitement as it used to have. I think the height of boxing for the modern times, at least, has to be between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. I think that was probably really high, but of course, there are other bigger fights as well, like Terence Crawford versus Canelo was exciting enough, but I think the numbers would speak for themselves that AJ versus Jake Paul did bigger numbers than that. With the boxing scene at the moment this year, it doesn't seem very exciting, even aside from Mayweather comeback against Manny Pacquiao. I'm not going to talk about details about who do I think is going to win, because no offense to the boxing guys, but that is not a fight that I feel should have so much attention on, because the way I see it, Mayweather just ran out of money that he could give out to all his strippers. But yeah, no, that's just not an exciting fight. At least not to me, it's not exciting, but it's news, right? So those of you who are looking forward to the Manny Pacquiao against Mayweather, I guess it'll be fun to watch, but both of them are way past their prime, so I don't know what to expect. I feel, if I could put my input, Floyd will win, probably, most likely. Moving on, there is another exciting boxing news, which is Usyk is going to be defending his WBC title against Rico Verhoeven. I don't know if the boxing community knows who Rico Verhoeven is, but Rico Verhoeven is a well-decorated kickboxer from the Netherlands. Now, yes, he's only competed kickboxing in his entire career. Maybe he probably has some like amateur boxing experience, but throughout his professional career, he's been a kickboxer and he's a multi-world heavyweight champion at Glory Kickboxing, the biggest kickboxing promotion there is in the world for the past probably 20 years. Since the end of K1. Glory Kickboxing's champion Rico Verhoeven will be taking on Alexander Usyk for the WBC Heavyweight Championship title. And that's gonna be an exciting one, at least, but then again, quite a number of people did say it was a mismatch. Even WBC was like, it was hard for them to want to sanction this fight, but I can tell why the boxing committee is not too happy about this particular match happening, because there's probably so many other heavyweight prospects that WBC could have picked to fight for the title. But then again, if you want to talk about selling tickets, you want to talk about numbers, you want to talk about money, I would say this is not bad, man. It's pretty good. And they're fighting at the pyramids of Giza as well. So take that, UFC. Like, UFC is doing one at the White House. They're doing it, the venue itself is really exciting. But the fight, predictable for Usyk to win, but then again, hey, you never know, right? Maybe Rico might have a bit of boxing tricks or like things that Alexander Usyk may not be prepared for. Exciting one, but that's part of the news that's been happening in the boxing world. So Alexander Usyk will be going up against Rico Verhoeven for the WBC World Heavyweight title. Back to a little bit more local news. Our local MMA fighter, Jihin Radzuan, got a win against Gabriela Fujimoto. Now, if you don't know who her opponent is, her opponent was actually on a 7-fight win streak. 7-0 in fact, undefeated. And Gabriela has suffered her first loss against our home pride, Jihin Radzuan, the Shadow Cat. Hopefully I could get her in for a podcast or an interview or anything, but if you want to know a little bit about her training, at least she was with Fairtex and she was training with Stam for a while, and then she moved over to Singapore. She's training with a coach named Matt Polino over at Foxgloves Gym, and seems like there's quite a lot of improvements. Or like, could be because of Matt, or could be because, you know, she's training a little bit closer to home. Jihin's from Johor and she's training in Singapore. Maybe it's a lot easier and more comfortable for her, but I wish I could get to know more. Certainly there's major improvements in her game that she absolutely demolished her opponent in one Lumpini the other night. So yeah, congratulations to Jihin. Other than that, more local news would be that for the Muay Thai scene, exciting news. I think a lot of people have seen from what Harimau Malaya posted and also from what the organizer posted himself. Buakau is coming over to Malaysia on the 24th of April for an event called T-Fight. Those of you who don't know T-Fight has been happening for the past few years. Mostly they do a lot of events in the Pantai Timur area. Sometimes they do events, but mostly Northern or Pantai Timur. But they had their first, pretty sure it was their first event here in KL. And for their little pre-event to hype up the Buakau fight, their pre-event had more towards local talents. But yeah, for the Buakau event, it's international fights all the way throughout. Buakau is coming down to Malaysia. Those of you who grew up with Muay Thai. I grew up with a bit of Muay Thai, I guess, but I looked up to Buakau quite a bit during my first early days when I first started competing. So if you want to meet up with Buakau, not meet up with Buakau per se, but if you want to watch Buakau fight in KL, it'll be at Stadium TT Wangsa on the 24th of April this year. But you know what's happening also on the 24th of April? Beyond is coming down, but Buakau is coming, so I'll be there. So yeah, Beyond will be having the event at PWTC. So for all of you who wants to see the rematch between Putra and Ronald, maybe that's where you guys are going to be. Two big events back to back. Kind of do wish that these two events were spaced out. Maybe for Beyond to do like the month after, probably there was no communication between anyone, which is expected, it's normal. You know, people just lock in the dates and then they just do an event because, yeah, that just happens, right? People just want to stay on their lane, do their own thing. Guess you guys gotta pick. You want to go watch Buakau fight or you want to watch a rematch between Putra and Ronald? So yeah, that'll be at PWTC on the 25th of April. So that's about it for the news that we have here for today. Anyways, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Southpaw Malaysia. Also, we got news coming up here as Fire Cage. So stay tuned, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.